Hey everyone, welcome back to What Next? And this week we'll be going into movie number 3 for director John Hughes. Now, if you remember, I'm going to go ahead and do some John Hughes movies probably for the next few weeks. I'm going to slide in some other movies in between, but I'm going to go ahead and keep going with my John Hughes as my director of the moment type deal. So this week we're going into, still dropping back into the mid 80s. This is 1985's Weird Science. So for those of you, again, if you haven't seen this one, do yourself a favor. Please see this one. This is classic 80s comedy, or classic 80s high school comedy in its prime. John Hughes is very good at making these. The only thing I'm starting to notice as a trend is he gives a happy ending, but there's still a lot of question marks in his movies that I'm starting to see so far. So since this is the third one I've reviewed going forward, yeah, I'm just seeing he ends them on happy notes, but there's still a lot of questions left as to what is next for these characters. So for those of us who have seen it, let's jump into it. So let's go ahead and start with, we can kind of go both, like Gary and Wyatt. Both Gary and Wyatt. Best buddies, almost, kind of like brothers. They're very close friends. Now, I kind of went back and looked over again. I'm not sure if they're seniors in high school or not. I know the bullies, you got one of the bullies is Robert Downey Jr. If you guys didn't miss that or didn't notice that, but I'm sure everyone knows by now that was one of his kind of first roles. He plays Ian, and then there's Max. So they do state Ian and Max are seniors. They're the senior bullies. So as far as Gary and Wyatt are concerned, I'm not sure if they're seniors at all. So that I'm not sure. I'm not sure what time of the school year this actually takes place for them. I'm not sure if it's the beginning of school year, middle of school year, summertime. I'm not totally sure. They start off showing them in school, but they don't say what time of the year it is for the most part, unless I really missed that going. But I wasn't digging too deep into I guess what season it was outside, but as far as what grade, I don't think they specify what grade these guys are actually in. But yeah, so let's jump into Gary and Wyatt. So watching the movie, get to the end, and it's one of those things too where it's kind of like the Breakfast Club. Like, I'm wondering, what is life like for Gary and Wyatt post all this stuff with Lisa here? So clearly they both end up with their dream girls. They kind of made buddies with Ian and Max. So what does their life look like going forward now that they kind of created this person who's I don't even know what to call Lisa. She's kind of like a computer program, but she's not even like a Frankenstein, because they didn't use like a dead body like in Frankenstein to bring back to life. So she's kind of almost just like I don't even know what you would call her. She's just kind of like a computer program that ends up having a body, like a real life body, I guess. But yeah, let's stick with Gary and Wyatt. So going forward, what does this guy's life look like? They're clearly, they go back to school. They have, they probably have some popular girlfriends. Maybe they're all seniors, because if Ian and Max are senior bullies, I'm guessing because they were kind of their girlfriends first. I'm guessing they're seniors too, so maybe everybody's a senior. So I'm curious what school life is like for these two post this, because they had the big party. Everybody at school knows them. They know that their house got beat up. The bikers showed up, and it was a wild time. So what happens with these two moving forward? Yeah, I was just kind of like that. To me, that's a huge question mark on those two. Like, they got left in such a weird spot in their lives after this movie to where they could literally go any which ways. I was like, it left it open for so many different interpretations as to where these characters can go and what they do next. Like, do they try using the computer program again? Because now they realized it can work. They made Lisa. They tried again. They made the mistake of not using the doll. They clicked it on they left the connectors on the picture of that rocket, and the rocket came alive. So they clearly figured out how to generate people or things from wherever they're at. So do they keep using that weird science again for some sort of other project that gets them in trouble? Or does it backfire on them? Like, maybe, I don't know, it could have got a little weird here with the sci-fi too, because not really knowing what kind of entity Lisa is, does she have some sort of glitch because she's kind of a sense like a computer program that just spawned a body? So it's like, what happens with her and them? Like, do they keep in touch? Does she kind of hang out? Like what does she do in the world too with Lisa? Because at the end we see Lisa. She shows up and she's a gym teacher at Wyatt and Gary's high school. So it's like, what does that look like? Because clearly she's still going to be around Gary and Wyatt for the rest of that school year, unless somehow that time jump at the end when you see her, maybe Gary and Wyatt have already graduated. Like we don't know. There's that big question mark as to where these three are at by the time that movie ends. So yeah, I mean, there was just a big question mark in my head. Like, this could go so many different ways. Like, I could probably think of at least 10 different ways to where this could spawn off into something different for Gary, for Wyatt, for Lisa, for all three of them. Like, it could. It was just so weird because, like I said, with these John Hughes movies, like, there's an ending, and it's a good ending, but it does leave so many questions after the fact. Like they don't close everybody's storyline, but it's definitely a good ending. Like, I'll give it that. Same thing with Chet. Chet's, the older brother, kind of like a military presence guy. Does he learn anything from this? Is he really going to be nice to Wyatt after we kind of just see as the house is coming back together, he gets transformed back into himself? But what happens with that? Does he learn? Does he move on? Does he just figure out Wyatt's this weird younger brother and just like learn, or maybe takes off and doesn't want to see him for a while because Wyatt kind of got him in trouble? Or does he learn to respect Wyatt? Like, does their relationship get better? Like, that I don't know. Because they portrayed Chet as that typical older brother that was, the bully to the younger brother. But, in the end, he kind of got... I wasn't sure if his redemption was sincere or not, because he did get turned into a... I think technically he's a toad. He looks like a pile of turd, but I think he's technically a toad. But, yeah, clearly, I mean, he apologizes and feels bad, but he gets turned back to normal when the house goes back to normal, when Lisa kind of undoes the carnage that she does to make Wyatt and Gary popular. And also, too, like with Gary's dad, like she made Gary's dad forget him. So I'm curious, did that ever go back? Because the last time we see his parents, the mom's, oh, there's Gary, and the dad's like, who is this Gary person? So I don't know if Gary's dad ever remembers him again, or he goes home and this guy, the dad is like, who is this boy walking into my house? And the mom's like, this is our son. And he's like, we don't have a son. So, yeah, I was curious if that actually went back to normal for, at least for Gary's life. But yeah, I mean, not a huge cast with this one. It had, same thing, small cast, kind of like Breakfast Club. You do have some secondary players that you don't really need to worry about too much about what next on these guys. I mean, obviously, if you did a sequel with this, maybe the three of them get in some sort of trouble. You could have the biker gang show up again, or they get into some total other trouble. Like you don't need Chet. You don't need the biker gangs. You don't need the bullies unless you want to factor them in some way somehow. The girlfriends, hit or miss. Again, you could take them or leave them for a sequel if you needed to. But let me know what you guys thought about this ending. Or not necessarily the ending, but let me know what you guys thought about what would go forward, past Weird Science with these three. Again, with Lisa, I'm not sure if she's technically human or some sort of weird entity that is unleashed on the world now. So it's like, what happens with her? But let me know what you guys think. As always, thanks for watching. Comment down below if you need to. And see you guys next time.